Okay, in previous sessions we discussed about if condition, else if, else like that and all, then for loop, while loop, right? So there is something called as do while in general, we'll have in other programming languages, but in shell scripting we don't have. But using some other alternate, we can achieve this. But in interviews, if they ask, you tell them there is no do while. Okay, if they ask, there is no do while, you tell them. No one will ask, but if they ask, they tell them. But you can achieve that do while in other way. Just Google if you want to alternate to do while in shell scripting, like that you search, you'll get some idea if you want, else leave it. Okay, just at least know that way if you want. So interviews, if they ask how can you achieve and all, you can tell, but if not, leave it. Next topic is switch case. Next topic is switch case. So Nagaraj, you joined? Okay, good. Okay, let me continue. Only 10 people. What about others? They don't want, or Sunday they are sleeping around. Okay, let me discuss about switch case. Okay, up to them. They're not even intimated that they are unable to join. Switch case. Okay, there is something called a switch case, but when to use this? This switch case is similar like else if. Similar like else if. If, else we write, right? So for example, if I want to write else if, right? So I want to use if. So many conditions I want to check. If A greater than B, else if A greater than C, else if A greater than D, like that I want to check so many conditions. Okay, like this I want to check so many else if conditions. So now here, if this condition fails, means if the condition check is false, it will come here, right? First, just think like I'm writing something, some condition. The if condition itself is satisfied. Here itself it is true. Now, these condition will be checked or not. The first, if itself is satisfied, then will these conditions will be checked or not?
Checked if it is true.
No, sir.
Sir, where are you? If this is true, it will execute whatever is present inside this, and why it will check? It will not check. Understood? Who said that? Yes. Understood? If this is true, it will execute this. It will not check the other things. Okay. If this is false, if this if is false, then
It will go to second elif.
okay, it will go to second elif. If this is true, then
Next one. No, it will skip and it will go to. It will print and end the only.
okay, it will not only print, if whatever is there inside this, this will execute that, then it will come out of that conditions, right? Not even else, it will come out of that else everything, right? Fine. But what if, for example, just think like for each check, it is taking 1 second time. So here to check this 1 second time, it is false. Again, it came here, it checked it, it false. 1 more second, checked false, checked false, checked false, again false, it came here, again false. Like this, it keeps checking false, 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 false. Here it's satisfied. Here it's satisfied. Now it has to execute. Next, even if this is failure, then it has to execute the else. Now tell me, if the condition check is passed at the initial stage, it is fine. But if the condition is satisfying at the end, and if you have multiple elifs, and if the condition is satisfying at end, it is going to take a lot of time, right? Whenever you're writing scripting or programming, right, the performance is also important, right? If you write it like this, then it has to check multiple checks. For each check, it is example I'm taking. If it is taking 1 second, right? Normally it will not take 1 second, but I'm just saying 1 second. If there are like 15 elif, it has to check 14 seconds, means it has to wait 14 seconds to give the result, right? Understood? So there is one more mechanism called as case, switch case. Okay, what the switch case will do is same like elif only. Same, let me show you here. Elif only. We'll write the condition here. We'll write the condition here. The matching values, if A equal to 10, right? That matching values will give here. Matching values will give here. Matching values, you'll give it here. Right? Like this, you'll write multiple cases. Means here case value something. So here you'll give the value. So here at the starting, like writing like this, which here, right, you'll give some value. If that value is matched, in this case, it will jump from here. If the value matches here to here also, it will jump. So it will not check whether this is matching. If not, this is matching. Not like that. One shot, it can identify where the value is matching. Directly from there to here, it will jump. Directly, it will jump from here. Right? It is not going to check the previous thing. So that is the reason it will be faster. So when to use switch case is, see, always if and else if is recommended. If else if only we have to use. But whenever you have not recommended, I mean, we can use in general if and else if only. But whenever there are multiple checks you have to do, instead of using multiple elifs, go for switch case. Understood, guys? Understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now one more question. Okay, before continuing with the switch case, I want to ask one question from previous session. Those who has practiced whatever the difference I said for and while, right? Have you observed one more difference? Can I use strings in for loop? Like if I equal to ABC, I greater than or equal to 1, 2, 3, I plus plus, or else like something like that. Can I use string?
We can't use.
No. Can I use the same one in switch case? Sorry, not in switch case. While loop?
I don't know, sir.
Why you don't know? You practiced, right? I gave the example also where input any value, it can be changed between the execution in mid of the execution. Yes. If you want to use string checks and all, you can go for switch case. Understood, guys? Drop off, not switch case. While loop. Okay. Okay. If you want to do any looping with the strings and all, you can use while loop to change the value because it supports any value and the value can be changed in mid of the execution. Yes or no, guys? You also did right here only. This example, input string, we practiced in last session also. I explained here. What is this? This is a string value, right? What, Kavya? You know or not now? You understood or not?
Yes, sir.
In Pawan? అర్థమవుతుందా? ఓకే ఏం కావాలి ఒక క్వశ్చన్ అడిగితే మాత్రం సైలెంట్ అయిపోతారు. ఓకే నెక్స్ట్ రైట్ ఓకే we can use switch cases inside that. Okay, let me show you switch case example. So see this, how to write this pattern, I'll explain this. See, I'll try to explain this. Anyways, you understood this loopings, right? So you'll understand this easily. So not an issue. Let me explain this. Echo, enter a number. Okay, enter a number. Read number. Okay, I'm taking one variable. Okay. Case means switch case. How to write a switch case is case. If you write, it means the switch case is getting started here. Number means dollar number means the value. In means the value in 0 to 9 means the value should be 0 in between 0 to 9. This is one case. This is one case wherever you are writing this, right? This is one case. And this is a close of the case means we write if then next else if, right? Right, like this is like then, right? Here then it is ending of that case. Next, if the number passed is a single digits in between 0 to 9, whatever is between this and this will be executed. Next, one more case starting 9 means two digits if it is, whatever is between this and this will be executed. If I pass 3 digits, it's fine. Now else we have right in elif, so this is going to be the default. Star means default case. If none of these cases got matched, then this will get executed, and this here and ESAC, this is end of. See, this bracket indicates case starting, end of case. This indicates end of entire switch case. So So this is the starting of the switch case. This is each case. Each check is called as case here. This is one case. This is one case. This is one case, and this is default case, and this is end of switch case. Now tell me one thing. I want to check the months. I want to write a switch case to check which month it is passed. So I'm going to write like this. Wait a second. Case is, for example, read month. Month is a variable. Case $month in. Okay, I'm going to write like this. Jan. Okay, for example, Jan. So I want to print echo entered is Jan. Okay, I want to close it. Next, one more case. Okay, two, only one here, not two. Okay. So I can't write that. Just I'll write Feb and go. Okay. So this case I want to end like this. Next, star.
Sir, in for loop, after in itself we write parameters, sir. In switch case, we have to write in next line, sir, after in.
Where's switch? Wait. I'll come there. See, this is like for not loop. Why you are comparing with looping? I'm not sure. For it is not related for else if.
Okay.
This is related. Yeah,
In one type of for loop,
that is advanced for loop. This is the way of representing. You don't compare with for loop and this. Okay, total different. This is just a syntax. Okay.
Okay.
Now, I can write like this. I can write like this. If the value passed is Jan here, the month value here we are checking, right? If I pass capital JAN, so it will match here. This will be printed. If I pass Feb, it will print here. Like this for each month it can write. If I pass DEC December, so it will come to the 12th case where it matches and it will execute this. So this is the value, whatever will be there, that has to be matched with this. Understood, guys? Understood? So if else, right? If $month equal to EQ month, if equal to month, right? Else if $month equal to Feb, if $month equal to March, if $month equal to June, July, August, September, December, like that we write, right? Here also, instead of writing elif like this, we are mentioning the value equal to, right? That we are matching here. So $month equal to Jan, print this. $month equal to Feb, print this. Like this, where it is not going to check here. If fails, then come here. If fails, come to next. Not like that. So whatever the value here is there, right? Wherever it is, it automatically can identify it, can jump to that and print, execute that. So that this multiple checks not need to be done. Understood, guys? Understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So do I need to execute this, or else can you check this? Can you execute this example? Okay, Kavya, turn off video. Okay. Okay, guys. Understood? Do I want to show it, or else you want to?
We will practice.
Okay, if you want, I can show you, or else you can. Just a second, guys. I'll be back. Just one second. Okay. Okay, let's continue. So that is switch case. You try it once. Okay, then you just try to execute this example, and also try to give the month value here. Means for that month value, no need to pass this thing, or I'll just check in Google. All right, you'll understand. Just I want to make you try once. Okay. Next, functions. This is one of the important example, important thing to learn. Functions. Okay. What are functions? Okay. Functions are the ones where all the ladies will put a lot of makeup, but guys will take light, go attend, right? Eat well and come, not that functions. Okay. Functions in any programming language is like when we use them. First, let me tell you one case. I'll try to explain you an example. I have a lot of code, right? From here to here, a big file is there. From here to here, a big, huge file is there. What I have is I have so many lines of code. I have so many lines of code. What I want to do is here is, for example, in this huge number of, just think these are like many lines of code here. Now what here I want to do is, I just wrote some code to add two numbers. I want to add two numbers. That is like 1 plus 2, 2 plus 3, something, right? Similar code I have here, where I'm going to add. Here I added 2 plus 3. Here I want to add 3 plus 4. I have similar code where I can add 6 plus 7, something, some number. The addition code is repeated multiple times inside this. Yes or no? Means in the same line only. I just want to add two numbers. For example, here I added 3 plus 2 plus 3. Right? Here I'll add 3 plus 4. 4 plus 5. Like this I add. You get two numbers. Now here once again I want to add two numbers. So what I'm doing, everywhere I'm doing addition. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Everywhere I'm doing addition. So the same addition for, we use same similar code, right? So is it duplicated 4 times? Yes or no?
Yes.
Duplicated at 4 times. Now here you see 2 plus 3 I'm adding, 2 plus 3 I'm adding. Every similar code 4 places, but here exact number also, but it is duplicated. What I do is, right, I will write this addition of the code at one place. I'll write the addition of code at one place. Okay. I'll write the addition of this addition code. I'll write at one place instead of writing it multiple places. Instead of writing it at multiple places, I'll call it. Okay, instead of writing it multiple places, what I'll do is I'll call it wherever I require. I'll call it here. I'll call it here. Wherever I want, I'll call it here. Right? Next, you may think, sir, addition of two numbers. For example, I want to add addition of two numbers. Addition of 2 plus 3. Then I can call it here. Right? If I want to add two numbers, 2 plus 3, then I can write that addition code at once and call. But I want to add 4 and 5, right? I want to add 4 and 5. So how, sir? Then I have to write a separate one. No, not like that. You can write like this, add A plus B. A plus B like that. And while calling this function, you pass the values for A plus B. Either the A value can be 2, 3 or 4 plus anything, whatever it is going to add and give the result. So the addition code will be done here, but not exact numbers. Instead of numbers, you will give variables. Whenever you are calling this function, you give the variables, values to that variable. Sorry, whenever you are calling this function, you give values to that variables so that the function will do that and job and then give the result. Understood, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay. That is about function. So there are two types of functions: parameterized function, non-parameterized functions. Non-parameterized function means you don't want to do like this. For example, static code. Hello, hi, good morning. Some operation you any number of times you call that function. Wherever you call that, it will give the same result, right? No parameters you need to pass. Parameterized function means it will have the variables like this. So the actions inside the function, whatever you perform, you have written, based on the parameters, it will read these variables, like are called as parameters. So if you give that parameter values, it will read the values and do the action and give it to you. Understood, guys? Understood? So let me show you one example. You'll understand, then we'll execute. So first, let me let me open Git bash. Sorry, AWS console and come back. Okay, so let me go here. Let me create one script. Okay, let me copy paste this. Now, some thing here we have to observe. Vi, for example, function dot such. See this. So this is shebang line. We know I want to execute with the set shell. Okay. Now see here, before hello function, it starts. This is a command. Okay. This is a command. Define your function. Next, this is how we write a function. This is the name of the function. Every function should have one name. And how we can tell this? For example, echo. This can also be a function, right? It also has a name. Or else, like I'll write ABC, something. How it becomes a function, right? You have to write like this. So wherever you write this hello, this brackets open and close, if you define this, this is going to be a function. And this flower brackets is the starting of the function, ending of the function. So you can write anything inside this brackets, you can write anything, right? This is a function, right? In my example, what I said, this is a function, right? We have to give one name for the function. This is the name of the function. How to tell this is a function is with this brackets. So I said these two. Using these two, I said these are the functions, right? This is a function. The name of the function is hello. And this is the starting of the function, ending of the function. So I have written some code inside that, right? So wherever I call this function, whatever present inside this will be executed. So remember this, wherever I call this function, everything in between these brackets will be closed. Now after hello function, one echo is there. Now tell me, if I run this script, what it is going to print? The execution will come from here to here. Will this print?
Yes, sir.
Next, will this print?
No, sir.
Why?
It is commented, sir.
Yeah, it is a comment. Next, it will come into this hello function. Will this print?
I think we are defining, so it will not print, sir.
Pawan, one Pawan.
Sir.
Is it going to print?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay. Next, it will come here. Will this print?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, this will print, but this will not print. Why? Because see, just now I said twice. Wherever you have a function, right? Whenever you want to execute this function, you have to call it. Like, this is just a function declaration. I'm writing the function, but did I call it? No. Wherever you want this function, you have to call that, then only it will get invoked. So what it will do, it will come from top to bottom, it will execute this, it will come here, comment, it will ignore it, it will come here, it's a function, it will just read the function, but it will not execute the function. It will not execute here, nothing will be performed here, because this is just a declaration. I am writing this code, but I'm not calling it. Next, after hello function, it will execute, then it will come here. Here I am invoking the function. How to invoke, how can we invoke the function is with the function name. How we can invoke the function is with the function name. So this is going to be the function name. So here I'm invoking the function. So now as I'm calling the function, our execution goes here. Whatever is inside this will be executed. Understood, guys?
Yes, sir. Sir, whatever function name we define, that name we should not use anywhere in the code, right, sir? Because it may
Yes,
treat it
yes. Okay. See here, it's the same thing. It came from here, top to bottom. This has been printed. Next, it came here. Hello, this has been just declared. Next, it will come here. So this will print here. Next, here I'm calling the function. So the execution goes here. So whatever inside the function between these brackets will be executed. That is, hello world is there. Hello world has been executed. Understood, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay, this is a function part. Now, okay, this is small, right? Now, let me modify the same function. I said, right, function wherever we call, it will get executed. Now, I'll go here. I want to call function here also. Next, I want to call function here as well. Now if I execute this, what will it will print? Tell me. One by one. So what happens at this line?
Will print, sir, that one.
Okay, this line comment. Okay, ignore. Next here.
It will print hello. And
No,
Okay.
it will not print, I think, sir, because not defined it, not declared the function.
Yeah, exactly. That's good. From first class onwards, I'm saying shell scripting. It is a scripting which will execute from top to bottom. Which will execute from top to bottom. So now when it comes here, you're calling a function, but the execution starts from top to bottom. Right here it came. In this, whatever it has executed from top to bottom till here, did it able to read the function? No. Still it don't know the function. When it completes this, then it can identify there is a function. Now next time when you call, it can execute. But before writing the function itself, before executing or reading that function itself, you are calling. So it cannot understand that there is a function. This is shell scripting. It is not a Java programming like object oriented. If it is Java, you can write the function at the end and call in the first line itself. It can identify, but here it's not, because it is a scripting which will execute from top to bottom. Understood, guys?